One of the great parts about driving around the countryside doing what I do is that I get to meet great people and find out about great stuff, and today's story is one of those. I'm back in Newcastle, New South Wales, talking to Lisa and Simon from Thor Rock Breakers, finding out about some great new gear and a great Australian family company. Guys, how are you?
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Great
G'day,
to be
Tim.
back with you.
Welcome back, mate.
Here you've got some fantastic stuff to show me.
We have. We've got some new tools and a new rotator for our post drivers.
Let's get rotating. So Simon, since I was last here, Thor post drivers are walking out the door, mate. People love them. They love their simplicity and the fact that they just can't break them, don't they?
Correct.
So you've spent that time innovating and you brought out some new tools, and the first one is an extension of your penetrator range. You've now got a very small penetrator.
That is correct. So we've got a penetrator now for our TH20 and our TH30 post drivers, suitable for 1.7 tonne excavators, mini loaders and so on. And it'll give you a 80mm penetrated hole suitable for 3-inch MB pipe.
So if people have small machines, they can now forget about augering and they can actually compact the hole and pre-stress the hole for the post, and that's going to make it a lot stronger, isn't it?
A lot stronger. It'll go in like it was concreted in.
So particularly if you've got rocky ground, get away from the idea of drilling a hole, penetrate your hole, and your fence will be stronger.
Correct, because if you drill the hole with an auger in boulder strewn and rocky ground, the auger obviously wanders off everywhere, turns the ground into mesh, and then you go, I'm going to have to concrete that post. With the penetrator, you get a beautifully penetrated 80mm hole, and the post will go straight in after it.
Now you've also got a new range of step tools coming out. Tell me a little bit about this.
So we upped the range of step tools. We started off with a 3-step tool. We've now got 5 and 6 step tools to do from small bore casing through to sort of 5 and 6-inch NB pipe and all the sizes in between.
So this will do just about any steel pipe that people turn into a fence post, won't it?
Correct. So if you fit that into your post driver and you're doing nothing but steel, you don't actually have to change your tools out at all. The one tool will do it all.
Now you've also got a rotating head now on your post drivers that fits to your high quality mounts.
Correct, and we've made it retrofitted. It'll fit to anybody's TH40 or 43 post driver with any mount, whether it's a skid steer, tractor, loader, whatever mount they've got on.
Let's have a closer look at it. One of the strengths of Thor post drivers is their simplicity. There's not much to break because there's only one moving part. This rotating plate does add a little bit of complexity, but you've kept it simple again.
Exactly, we've kept it simple. It does still add a few extra components to worry about and keep an eye on when you're post driving, but simple is best.
Do I have to install separate takeoffs on my machine to run this rotating plate?
No, you don't, Tim. The 2 original hoses, they just connect to your machine. They go to our directional control valve over there, which is electrically operated.
Okay.
And there's an electrical lead.
A solenoid down here.
Solenoid down there. Electrical lead that you just run back into your machine. You can plug it into your 12 or 24 volt socket inside the cabin. And there's a switch with that, and you can just switch between post driving and using the tilt function. Of course, the tilt function is only really there to keep your post tool vertically facing the ground on slopey ground.
So on slopey ground, I can come into the side of the post and I can actually chase the post down the hole now.
Exactly, and keep the post tool flat. But when you're doing steel post, if you're on a bit of an angle on the steel post, you tend to below the side of the post, and then you have to cut the top off. With the tilt function, it'll allow you to level up the tool and keep it flat on top of the post.
All right. Now, I like the simplicity of this. Basically, it's one extra plate, isn't it, that you bolt in?
Exactly.
And then you've got a hydraulic ram on that plate that comes back to this electronic solenoid, which, as you said, you can swap over in the cab.
Yes,
So no extra outlets required. This will fit on skid steers. What else will it fit on?
It'll fit on the tractors, telehandlers, front end loaders, actually any mount that bolts to our post drivers. It can be retrofitted between the mount and the post driver.
Now, it's a pretty big plate. What size post drivers does this fit at the moment?
This suits our TH40 and 43 model post drivers.
So the larger stuff that you would typically mount on your telehandlers and skid steers, that's what you made it for?
Yeah, the 2 most popular models,
People with excavators can obviously get around that problem just with the excavator arm itself.
With the blade,
smaller machines don't really need this tilting
They can
plate.
use the blade to level an excavator up, but these can be retrofitted to an excavator as well if someone does want a tilt function.
So it's simple, it's tough, and it will give greater flexibility to people that are using it on front end loaders and skid steers.
Correct, absolutely.
So mate, you've got a whole range of grapples and compaction plates for excavators as well. You're expanding your range even further.
That's correct, Tim.
Take me through them.
Okay, so first up, Tim, we've got the rotating demolition grab. It does a full 360-degree rotation, and it has grapple jaws to allow you to pick up rubble and basically any kind of scrap material, even forestry work with this one as well. These come in a range of sizes made to fit from 5-tonne excavator up to 40-tonne excavator. Next up, we've got our traditional old, what they call a 5-finger demolition grapple. No rotation on this one, so it makes it a bit more heavy duty if you're trying to pull stuff apart in demolition type conditions or rip a tree out of the ground, that sort of kind of work. And we have these to fit from a 2.5-tonne excavator up to a 30-tonne excavator. And then thirdly, we have the rotating heavy duty wood grapple, different jaw configuration, so it'll close right up to pick up even quite small timber or steel or whatever sort of scrap material you're trying to pick up. Full 360-degree rotation as well. And we have these from a 5-tonne excavator through to a 40-tonne excavator.
So Simon, you're a mechanic and you work on this stuff all the time. You're really careful with the design of this to make it easy for mechanics, and there's 3 features here that are important for people to know about when they're looking at rotating rings, aren't there?
That's correct. We chose a particular type of rotator, so one that has an external motor, easier to get to if there's any problems or things need repairing, with a worm drive onto a slew ring, which makes it much more heavy duty because the slew ring locks onto the worm drive, not putting the weight back on the hydraulic motor.
So there's a breakout point in here to allow serviceability here. A lot of the cheaper machines that you'll find on the market, the motor is directly connected to the slew ring and there's no worm drive intermediary, is there?
Correct, and there is a slew ring, but it's internal and it's usually inside this cavity in here, and to get to it, it's quite a lot of extra work to dismantle it to get to it.
So this is made to be serviced?
Exactly right. In the event down the track you've got a leaking motor, much easier to get to than trying to dismantle the whole unit.
Now you've also got some compaction plates, and they allow you a little bit more flexibility on farm with the one tool.
That's correct.
Show you about them.
Better show you them now, mate.
Tell me a little bit about these and what the advantage is over your traditional compaction wheels that you might find on the typical excavator.
Well, the hydraulic compaction plate allows you to do trench work like the Padfoot roller, but it also allows you to do shed pads, drains, culverts, and larger surface areas.
Okay.
Quick and efficiently, I suppose. Yeah.
So if I've got a farm and I've invested in an excavator, I can buy the one tool to do all of the compaction around the farm pretty much.
Exactly right, yeah. And unlike the Padfoot, you get a nice smooth finish, especially if you're doing road work and so on, you get a beautifully smooth finish after you're done.
Perfect. So what range of size machines can you buy one of these compactors for?
We can go from about a 3.5-tonne excavator through to a 40-tonne excavator.
Once again, they're built simple and they're built strong and they should last.
They will last, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. No should about it, eh?
No should.
We better go and catch up with Lisa now.
Okay.
Well, Lisa and Simon, this all started out with you having to fix rock breakers for people all the time at One Stop Machinery Shop and deciding that there had to be a better way, and sourcing the best rock breaker with the least amount of moving parts that you could find. You adapted it to post driving and it's led to a whole range of tools, and no doubt by the time I'm back again you'll have even more to show me.
Probably the way things are going, but that's correct, mate.
That's how we roll.
We started with the rock breakers and that led to the post drivers and hence grapples, compaction plates and so on, and a huge array of tooling to go with all of it.
My favourite tool is still the penetrator. Lisa, they're selling like hotcakes?
Yeah, they are, and thanks very much for the name, Tim.
Guys, if you like new tools, particularly penetrators, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week with even more.